What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw for TV. So, in this video, I want to talk about something that I've observed over the last couple of years. And this is something that I think both the NBA, the National Basketball Association, and the NFL, the National Football League, are purposely doing for these two individuals for both their long-term financial success, and by default, these two guys' legacies. Now, in the past, athletes tended to age on a curve. Okay, usually, let's just start from baseball from the beginning of the 20th century all the way until maybe 20 years ago or so, and the NBA from the 40s all the way until about 15 years ago or so. Okay, generally, you come into the sport 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, somewhere in that age range. And you peak sometime around 25 to 30. And then starting in your early 30s, definitely by your mid 30s, you begin to diminish, decline. Sometimes it's different than everybody else. Sometimes it's a slow decline. Sometimes you fall off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it happens all at once, like with Willie Mays. Hank Aaron's a guy that really didn't fall off until maybe like the last 2 years of his career or something. Okay, but that was basically the case. Yeah, Hank Aaron's a guy who played that well until he was 39, 40 years old. That was very rare. That was like a once in a blue moon type situation. Today, let's not kid ourselves. First of all, um, these guys are using PEDs. Anybody that thinks that that's not the case, you're a fool. Okay, these guys are using PEDs. So already when you use PEDs, that's going to forestall your decline period. It's going to increase your level of play, and it's going to, that's why you had guys like McGuire, who, if you look at his career from 1987 to about 1994 or 95, his career looked to be on the same trajectory as Cecil Fielder, right? A good power hitter, but not Hall of Fame worthy. Then from 96, he hits 52 home runs. 97 in Oakland and with the Cardinals, he was traded July 31st, 97 to the Cardinals. He hits 58 home runs. And of course, he hit 70 in 98, really 71 because he got cheated out of a home run in Milwaukee late in the season. But he hit 70 home runs and he hit 65. Now all of a sudden, he's hit over 500. He's hit over 500 home runs, and he's a Hall of Fame caliber type player. Let's not act like this doesn't exist. With PEDs, I almost said STD, right? Then the rule changes. Both leagues have had rule changes which severely helps the offense. Defenses are handicapped, and by default, if you're taking less punishment defensively, you're going to be that's going to by default extend your career. Okay, that's going to extend your career, and it's going to make your statistical numbers that much more impressive, right? And that goes with everybody. You know, we even seeing this in baseball with home runs and scores. Runs scored. We're seeing it a marked increase over the last several years because of rule changes in the way the game is played now. But this is the one I want to emphasize the most, though. There's no question that the top star in the NBA, the most heavily promoted star, is LeBron James, right? And the most heavily promoted star in the NFL is Tom Brady. Now, both of these individuals are for their respective sports Methuselahs. By that I mean uh, they're playing at a high level at an age that you rarely see that in. You know, like Bernard Hopkins in boxing and Archie Moore, George Foreman, they were rarities. LeBron James is 36 years old. Usually at that age, you know, with few exceptions, you're not a top player in the league. Tom Brady is 43. That's unparalleled. I know I get on his shit, but he does play at a very high level for that age. But when you're the league, how can you sustain this star power longer, as long as possible? But what you do is you surround these guys with as much talent as possible, but you create the illusion that it's all them or mostly them. Just like how Tom Brady has been surrounded with so much talent in Tampa Bay, and they're trying to load the deck even more for Tom Brady. Yet, like I said before, you don't hear people refer to him stacking the deck in the NFL, or Tampa Bay stacking the deck, or do you hear them refer to them as a super team? But they're already talking about, you know, other star players joining Tampa Bay. With LeBron James with AD out, already you hear talk about, you know, DeMarcus Cousins joining there, or Hassan Whiteside, or Blake Griffin, or Andre Drummond, already, because the NBA wants the Lakers to be in the finals. So they have to pilfer another franchise. They'll do so. They'll do so. And the Lakers are about to make some moves. They keep losing because shout out to Ticket TV. You did a video just before I upload this one. Lakers just waived Quentin Cook, who is supposedly LeBron's boy. You know what I'm saying? So LeBron is one cold mob boss, man. Hey, man, it's not personal, man. You know, it's just business. Man, I thought we were friends, man. Hey, man, whatever it takes to win, brother. Whatever it takes to win. Now get the fuck out of LA. I was gonna be a Laker. Get out! Now go see if we can get DeMarcus. No, but in all seriousness, that's what the NBA, that's what sports in general, not just the NBA, that's the secret. That's the secret now. To extend star power, they're going to cloak that star with as much talent around him as possible, but promote that star player to give you the illusion that it's mostly just them. And that's how you can squeeze out every drop of, you know, his worth. You know what I'm saying? Squeeze out every fucking drop. This is how Tom Brady can theoretically play until he's 50 years old. Do you really think that Tom Brady in the 80s and 90s would be able to play as long if he didn't have the offensive lines that he has or the receivers that he has? Do you really think that he would last this long? It's a reason why quarterbacks were usually a shell of themselves by the time they were 37, 38 years old because of all the punishment they took. You know what I'm saying? year in and year out, getting sacked and hit and the inevitable injuries. Tom Brady, for the most part, has been able to avoid that. Now, LeBron James being as big and strong as he is, he could take more of it. He could take more of the licking. But still, if he was playing in a more physical league, he may have had more injuries, which could have taken away from him physically over the years. We saw what happened with Penny Hardaway, who should be a Hall of Famer. Penny Hardaway should have been a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? But he won't be. So that's all I got to say, man. To me, like I said, this is the recipe to extend both of these guys' careers. Is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Rule changes, wrap them around with a lot of teams that are very talented and teams that complement their skill set. And in Tom Brady's case, put an offensive line in front of him so that other teams can't touch him. And if you're not putting pressure on Tom Brady, not really, he can sit back and do whatever he can do. This is a guy who's been playing for so long and mentally has mastered the game of football mentally to the point where if you look, that's the thing that separates Tom Brady from other guys. See, the problem with other athletes is this: other quarterbacks, they've mentally mastered the game as well. But the problem was at the same time that they're mentally mastering the game, physically their body's falling apart. And that's why they retired. A lot of those guys, they feel sort of like, damn, just as I'm starting to figure things out, I'm breaking down. But Tom Brady can be a fossil. Tom Brady can be 80 years old. Literally, he can be 80 years old. And if he has a tremendous offensive line, he might still be a, a third stringer. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody keep tagging his ass, you know what I'm saying, then that changes the equation for him. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got to say, man. Tell me what you guys think.